Question about sensual misconduct. What if we cannot avoid the abuse that comes from the outside? For example, if we are in a waiting room where the TV is on and there are unwholesome things being played, and one cannot leave that room, how to shield oneself from unwholesome outside polluters?
Well, you have no control over that, and that is the way the world is. But what I was talking about, your personal commitment. We all have personal responsibility, and we abide with that. What others do in the world, we have no control over that. It's always the case. We abstain from killing, and we observe, practice metta, killing may be going on all the time in the world. Even in the time of the Buddha, when Buddha was so teaching so compassionately, behind the Jetavana monastery, there was a man slaughtering animals for 55 years. And Buddha could not stop that. And he did not stop teaching Dhamma, teaching Metta, and so on. This person's slaughtering, especially hogs, pigs, was so disturbing to the monastery, Jetavana monastery, but the monk complained to the Buddha, and Buddha did not ask the king to come and order him to stop it. Buddha simply taught the Dhamma, and this man, of course, afterward he passed away in a very miserable death he had. But Buddha did not do anything about it. He could not do anything, stop what is going on in the world. He simply presented the principle. This is very beautiful thing to remember. This is another very unique Buddha's teaching, that he did not introduce commandments. He did not command, order. See, all the precepts people observe voluntarily by themselves, and he never forced people to observe the precepts. He simply presented the principle. This is the dependent origination again. If you do this, this is the result. If you don't do this, this is the result, and so forth. So he left the teaching, principles, formula like that, because he knew, he's very fully enlightened, that this is not anybody, it is not within the capacity or possibility or power of any being, even a universal monarch, a powerful king, Hercules, cannot stop world's wrongdoings. Therefore, it is just a waste of time. So, when you are at, say, at the airport, waiting for your flight with the ticket in your hand, there is a TV screen right behind you, in front of you, and so forth. You hear the news. You have no way to stop that. You rather try to focus your mind on your own breath, remain calm, and be comfortable, and think that this is the way, this is how the world is working. I have no control over this, and those who are involved in it may have their own ways, but we have no control. That is how we have to react with regard to sensual pleasures.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
Another question.
Yes.
How do ignorance and volitional activities transfer between one life and another to drive consciousness into a new existence.
Okay. In fact, during this course of short lectures, I was going to address this as well, but since you asked me this question, it is on the one hand is premature, but it is quite appropriate question. Ignorance and volitional formations goes from one life to another. That is your question. But answer is that ignorance, volitional formations eventually becomes, another name is karma, sankhara. Sankhara has three levels: wholesome karma, wholesome sankhara, unwholesome sankhara, and imperturbable sankhara. They are called in Pali punyabhi sankhara, apunyabhi sankhara, anejyavi sankhara. So, I will explain all these things later. So, the sankhara or karma, the karmic force, is transported from one life to another by desire, greed, craving, which has the power to cling to something. As I mentioned, when I mentioned 60 places of 60 places where craving arises and 60 places where craving ceases, I mentioned that craving itself creates more craving. Rupa tanna, rupa vitakka, rupa vichara. And so deliberation of tanna, craving. So this sankhara or karma is driven or pushed to next life by desire. Desire. There is a discourse in Samyutta Nikaya called Aggi Vachagotta Sutta. This Vachagotta asked the Buddha, when one has committed karmas, what would no, first he asked when fire goes from one place to another like wildfire, what would be the agent that carries fire from one place to another? So Buddha said the air, wind itself carries the fire from one place to another. When wind blows, the spark of fire goes with the wind and land on some other tree or leaves, and then it start burning. Similarly, when one passes away, the desire works as an agent to transport that person's karmic force from one life to another. Believe me that desire, karma, all these are mental states. It is not something you take by your hand and taking to another place. It is not like that. It is a mental transformation or transmittance of the karmic power, karmic force, karmic strength, karmic energy to next life. So that is how it happens.
Thank you, Bhante.
What are these numbers?
It looks like are these three roots of ignorance correct? 1, 5 hindrances. 2, fetters, samoyajana. 3, anushayas.
Yes.
Does taints asavas feed the fetters, in turn ignorance?
Yes.
Our roots of 5 hindrances lie in 10 unwholesome actions.
Yeah.
That was the question.
Okay. So 5 hindrances, then asava, then anusaya, and then sanyojana. Yeah, this is the order. First 5 hindrances, then asava, not anusaya. Asava, anusaya, then sanyojana. These are the order. This is the order. Okay?
Okay. Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
I think it's time to meditate.
Okay. So put that profile first.
Right. So we do this.
Yes.
Okay, and then this one.
Okay.
Oops.
Okay, now I think it is letters are big enough for anybody to read.
I think so.
Yeah?
I think so.
So let us begin, and you look at your screen and join me in sharing loving friendliness with everybody. May all beings be happy and secure. May all beings have happy minds, whatever living beings there may be, without exception, weak or strong, long, large, medium, short, subtle or gross, visible or invisible, living near or far, born or coming to birth, may all beings have happy minds. Let no one deceive another, nor despise anyone anywhere. Neither from anger nor ill will should anyone wish harm to another. As a mother would risk her own life to protect her only child, even so towards all living beings, one should cultivate a boundless heart. One should cultivate for all the world a heart of boundless loving friendliness, above, below, and all around, unobstructed, without hatred or resentment. Whether standing, walking, sitting, lying down, or whenever awake, one should develop this mindfulness. This is called divinely dwelling here, not falling into erroneous views, but virtuous and endowed with vision, removing desire for sensual pleasures. One comes never again to birth in the womb. You see, the kind of thought we want to cultivate, we cannot have doubt or mistake in this particular thought of metta. It comes out of our own heart with very sincere honest intention to help in this way all those who are in pain and suffering. In every country in the world, there is this virus that affects people, their families, their jobs, their security, health, their finance. Everything is affected by this virus, and therefore we want to share this metta with all of them to get back to their regular lives without this virus and help themselves as well as others. Also, we want to wish all those who are doing their best in whatever way they can, in praying, singing songs. In some places, we have seen online that countries have uh, concerts, musical concerts, and to uh, boost their feelings and uplift their spirit to make them feel comfortable, which would help them to reduce their suffering, especially those who are in isolation and quarantining themselves in their homes, sometimes in selected public places that their countries have set up for them to be quarantined. And so they are trying to help them in whatever way they can. Similarly, we do our bit and we want to wish them peace. With this background, we start our practice. Let us, without thinking of the past, future, what we have done, what we are going to do, just pay total, undivided, mindful attention. Mindful attention is attention without greed, hatred, or delusion. Pure, simple attention to the breath. As you breathe in and out, you feel the breath, you feel the pause between inhaling and exhaling, and then you continue to breathe in and out. Then you feel the breath, feel the, then you perceive it, and you have attention or volition, and then you are conscious of your breathing. These are happening every time we breathe in and breathe out, and then every time it arises and passes away. Every one or all of them arise and pass away, rise and falls, Udaya Vaya. And awareness of this called Udaya Vaya Jnana, knowledge of rising and falling, rising and falling. That is what is happening all the time, not only during meditation, but all the time in our entire life. This is just a very simple example of what is happening all the time. Sort of a sample. And then when we know this, mind does not get agitated or excited and accept it, and we continue to pay attention. And then the body becomes relaxed, the mind becomes relaxed, breath becomes relaxed. With this relaxed body, the breath and the mind, we continue our practice, and then our hindrances, greed, hatred or anger, restlessness and worry, sleepiness and drowsiness, and doubt slowly fade away and we gain some concentration with the thought of letting go, thought of metta and compassion. They are not words, but just the awareness of this feeling of metta, feeling of generosity, feeling of compassion, and arises joy, happiness, and concentration. With this, our mind becomes even cleaner, purer, and settled and steady. With that state, we see our changes in the deepest way, awareness of the subtlest changes takes place, and then we stay in that until this session is over. Dukkha patta chani dukkha, bhaya patta chani bhaya, soka patta chani soka, hontu sabbe pipanino. May the suffering be free from suffering. May the fear struck be free from fear. May the grieving be free from grief. So too may all living beings be. This is our earnest wish once again. We want to wish all living beings be happy and peaceful, especially those who are suffering, victims of coronavirus, and may they all be free from this sickness, and those who are healthy may not get this virus, and may all those who are helping to prevent it also be very successful. May their effort produce results very soon. Those who are trying to find vaccines may come out very quickly with some very effective vaccine. Those who are supporting them in financially and otherwise also be very generous and healthy. All of them, we don't have time to mention categories, beings involved and suffering. May all of them be free from this virus and they all return to their normal, regular life with good health and live long in good health. This is our earnest wish, friends. I want to continue answering questions right now. Where's that profile? Surya is a cat like our cat.
Yeah, mud, like let's
Lisa.
Dear Bhante, this is a question about sexual misconduct. I have heard of a story of someone who went to hell because he visited prostitutes in his life. What about people who abuse their body by watching undesirable things or taking drugs? It's pitiful as many people abuse due to suffering and lack of self-love.
Yes, all these expressions of the ignorance, so they don't know how much they inflict pain and suffering to themselves and how much they cause suffering to others. And therefore, in the first, we must have utmost compassion for them to be free from such abusive behavior, abusive practice, so that their body and mind will be straight and healthy. Also, they will not cause pain and suffering to others, to their family members, friends, relatives, and also cause expenses to the government that has to rehabilitate these people, has to find institutes, medical professionals like psychologists, psychoanalysts, psychiatrists, hospitals, and so forth. They told all of them if they have right understanding to straighten their life. And of course, definitely, this is not our wish, but after that, they also would, since they pass away with confused state of mind, and their next life is not very happy one. It will be even more painful, woeful state, and therefore, for this world, next world, for their benefit, for the benefit of others, they should stop this. This is our wish. But nobody has any control over them but themselves. They have to have a right understanding, right intention, and make right effort. With right understanding, right intention, they must make right effort. To make right effort, they need mindfulness and concentration. All they can gain in this very life if they uh, make a firm determination and deep commitment to change themselves and liberate themselves from this habit.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay.
Bhante, a few people would like to know which suttas discuss ignorance.
Ignorance is discussed in Sammaditya Sutta. Discuss simply mention this and Mahasatipatthana Sutta, defining what ignorance is. It says dukkhe ajnanam, dukkha samudaya ajnanam, dukkha nirodhe ajnanam, dukkha nirodhagaminiya patipadaya ajnanam. Not knowing the suffering, not knowing cause of suffering, not knowing end of suffering, not knowing the path leading to end of suffering is called avidya, ignorance. And this definition you find in Mahasatipatthana and Sammaditya Sutta in Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 9. In these places we find it. If you want to, you may go online and Mahasatipatthana on the Dhammanupassana and Majjhima Nikaya Sutta number 9.
Okay. Bhante, when the word sankhara appears in the sutta, it doesn't always mean the same thing. There are different meanings in different contexts. And what are they? Fabrications and formations appear so often, sometimes it gets confusing for the beginners trying to understand the suttas.
Yes, Sankara is translated into English by various learned people in various ways. This, I must say, with my limited knowledge of all these translations, the word Sankara is untranslatable. It cannot be translated into any language to convey the full meaning of the word Sankara. So I prefer sometimes using the word Sankara itself, like Dhamma, cannot be translated. We translate and sometimes they are not conveying the full meaning of Sankara or Dhamma. But in order for our understanding, they give very general meanings, and Sankhara surely means many things. One is, I mentioned three kinds of Sankharas mentioned in Chula Vedala Sutta and some other places. Kaya Sankhara, Vachi Sankhara, Chitta Sankhara. Sankhara means preparing, repairing, making up, all these called Sankhara. When somebody wants to go to a stage to, for a stage show or go to a party and so on, they have to prepare them, repair them, put on makeup and put on new dresses, all kind of things they do to make himself or herself presentable. You can see actors, they act in a certain way. Say somebody act like a judge in one movie and he will act like a thief in another movie, and so on. So they prepare themselves, repair themselves, adjust themselves, dress themselves, do various things to present themselves in different ways and in different acts. This kind of repairing, preparing, making up, all this called sankhara. Sankhara. Once they have made themselves like this, that the final product, final presentation, or the person's final appearance is called sankhata. Sankhata is that is the end product. Sankhara is the preparing for that end product. And also we repair our houses. That is sanskarana, and so forth. The sankhara means various activities to make it presentable. Another, that is general meaning, and other sankhara is karma, that we commit with intention, our intentional thoughts, words, deeds, committed by one whose mind is not free from greed, hatred, and delusion, is called sankhara. These sankharas are wholesome sankhara, unwholesome sankhara, imperturbable sankhara. Wholesome sankhara brings wholesome results, unwholesome sankhara brings unwholesome results. Imperturbable sankhara remains for that period of time imperturbable, very steady, and still these sankharas are not totally free from potential of defiling, so long as sankharas are there. At the sankharas which are not karma, like breathing is called physical sankhara, bodhila sankhara. I call it body, physical sankhara, body conditioner. I think conditioner and conditioned can be used. Conditioner is the previous arrangement, preparation. Conditioned is the final product of that conditioning. So, in other words, sankhara means anything that comes into existence through causes and conditions is called sankhara. Anything the causing something to be presented is sankhara, and when it is done, that final product is sankhata. Sankhata. We all are sankhata, and we also can become sankhara. All these factors we saw in the independent origination, all of them, one time they are sankhara, another time they are sankhata. For instance, avidya is sankhara, but since avidya is caused by fetters, unwholesome thoughts, words and deeds, and influxes, underlying tendencies, these cause avidya, ignorance, and then that time avidya or ignorance becomes the product that then becomes sankhata. Then when sankhara depends on avidya, ignorance, at that time sankhata, avidya becomes sankhara. Then sankhara becomes sankhata due to the fact that it became a product of avidya, ignorance. It rises depending on ignorance. Therefore, sankhara is sankhata, and then sankhara causes consciousness. Therefore, that time sankhara become sankhata become sankhara. Like that, one time it is sankhara, another time it is sankhata. So this is why it is difficult to translate into any language, but we have to understand the context where the word sankhara and sankhata are used. We may take it out of context and try to give a full meaning is difficult.
Thank you, Bhante.
You're welcome.
I think that is Buddy. Okay. Next question. Is it wrong view not to believe in rebirth or future lives, but rather focus on this life, breaking into the cycle of birth and death we go through every day?
Okay. Actually, this is a very good question. When we are ignorant, we think, have I been in the past? What have I been in the past? How I have been in the past? From what state to what state did I transform? And will I be in future? What shall I be in future? How shall I be in future? Where shall I be in future? And we think, am I not, what I am, who I am, where from I came from where do I go from here? All these are speculative thinking, questions. That Buddha said would simply increase our defilements, our influxes. So I think it is very wise for us to see the causal relationship of existence now, here and now in this very life. That would open our mind to see what is happening to us, how it is happening, when it is happening, how to take care of it, how to increase our wisdom, peace, and happiness, and so on. And therefore, uh, thinking of the past and future is just a waste of time, because you don't know the past, neither do you know the future. But you even don't know this life, let alone past and future. If you know this life, you would not commit wrong things. Therefore, it is very good for us to uh, concentrate in the present. There are several Bhante Gunaratana sutras, maybe 4 of them. It says, Atita nanu sochanti, napajampanti nagatan, pachupanne yapanti, and so forth. Yagatitang pahinantan, appatan chanasavan, asanghirang asankappam, yang vitva manubhuhe, and so forth. This Bhante Gunaratana Sutra says, the past is gone, future has not come yet. The present is present. Be mindful of the present. And so forth, and so that is what we have to do instead of wasting our time thinking of the past or the future. And that would increase our confusion and even ignorance, and simply wasting our time. The Buddha's very wise advice is to pay attention to this life and what is happening now, and while paying attention to it, do it correctly so that you have no regret, and you will make progress in the attainment of liberation. This is our cat.
Yeah, that's Buddy.
Okay. I think this may be enough. Golden Bridge. Okay. And once again, thank you, friends, for joining us, and your sincere effort to bring peace to the world at this time especially is really highly appreciated by everybody. And we must work together as one single human force, body, and friends of humankind at this time, and bring our full force, full energy, all our will and energy, heart, to help these people to recover from this and live long in good health. I must wish with this good night and see you tomorrow.